Hello? Can everyone hear me? This is my first time going live by myself, so I apologize if I am rather awkward. Stacey is at our parents' house helping our mom out at her restaurant, so she will not be joining me in today's live. Instead, it will just be, see Ms. Marshmallow there and G-Man? G-Man, say hi. So this is his toy, Tobias. This is Tobias. He's had Tobias for 6 years now. You want Tobias? Take Tobias. There you go. Okay, so it'll just be me, G-Man, and the Queen. All right, so today the live just was gonna do like a life update. We've been a little MIA from YouTube. If you guys have noticed, we've been a little infrequently uploading videos. So we have a lot on our plate right now, and we're kind of in this like transition period in our life. So I know a lot of our Instagram fam knows that we're really busy right now, but kind of wanted to update all of our people on YouTube and let you guys know kind of what's happening, what are our plans moving forward, and just give you guys an update. And then we'll do like, who's this we stuff? It's just me. I said this on our Instagram story, like if you think about what lives are, it's really awkward. Like I'm in a room by myself with 2 dogs talking to a screen. This is 2020 for you. So it is September 2nd. And so I have my final defense, like the end, final defense up on September 15th. So like 2 weeks from today, which is really exciting. So that's one of the main reasons that we've been MIA. I just have been really busy trying to wrap things up. I'm pretty close to finishing up my final like dissertation, but I have my defense on Tuesday, September 15th. And then we are trying to sell the home that we are living in right now. And that is a whole ordeal. And then we are actually closing on a farm property on Friday. So 2 days from now. So there's a lot going on. In addition to that, we're also working on the cookbook that we're doing with Dr. Paul Saladino. Sarah has been doing much of that work, and it is just a lot more work than we anticipated, but we are really proud of the final recipes that we have made, and we can't wait to share it with you guys. So that's kind of what's on our platters right now. We've got my final defense. We've got the farm closing on Friday, which is really exciting. We will definitely film a video giving you guys like the full 360 view of the farm. We're trying to sell this house, and we've got the cookbook coming up. The deadline is like 2 months from now. So there's just a whole lot happening, but wanted to check in because really enjoy all of our audience, and we really appreciate you guys. So that's what kind of today was, update you guys and then do some Q&A. So I'm gonna go to the chat stream. Hey Tiff, hey Grace, hey Rudolph, hey Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, I appreciate you. So yeah, I probably should have gotten some like initial questions to start off with, but kind of just doing like any Q&A, whether that's like about our plans moving forward, our current nutrition strategy. Yeah, so the floor is open for you guys to ask some questions. I will kind of outline like what our plans are moving forward. So I have my final defense on September 15th, and then we plan to go to Georgia to White Oak Pastures the day after I defend, so September 16th. And we're going there to remake all the recipes and get the money shots for the cookbook. So we have to deliver to the publisher 50 food photos and 25 lifestyle photos. So we'll be at White Oak for 9 total days to get some good photos. We're working with the food photographer at White Oak Pastures. Her name is Catherine. She is awesome. So we'll be really preoccupied with that. And then later this fall, once we completely move out of this house and sell it, we will be moving back to our parents' house 50% of the time and be at our farm property in Michigan 50% of the time. We'll be helping our parents out with their businesses because they need a little help right now due to COVID. And so we'll be helping them and then doing like some work at the farm, like getting some infrastructure, like fencing and stuff like that up and running. So hopefully we'll be able to get animals on early 2021. That is the plan. All right, so it looks like we've got some questions. I keep saying we. Who's we? It's just me. Okay, so Grace is the first question. Grace Wing, what's a current day of eating look like for you guys now and timing? Okay, so some reminders, we are no longer strict carnivore. We are still animal based. We have chosen to add in, carbs. It was originally because we were trying to fix our amenorrhea. So we have both not had our period for quite some time. Sarah was like 4+ years. I was like 10+ years. So we kind of drastically switched. So before we were definitely doing 0 carb carnivore nose to tail, and we were doing time restricted feeding. So eating in a small window. We decided to take a new approach to try to reduce as many stressors we could on our body. When your body is not menstruating, your body is in like this state of fight or flight. And so your body thinks, okay, it's not the time to ovulate because you have these other environmental stressors. And so our goal was to reduce the amount of stress on our body as much as we could to signal to our body, hey, it's okay, it's safe to ovulate. So we added in carbs and we are eating more frequently throughout the day. So that way our body, okay, guys, I'm sorry. I got to take a pause. Marshmallow needs to go outside. I'll be right back. Marshmallow. Okay, I promised you guys that it would be awkward, and it is definitely awkward. So Queen needed to go pee, so I let her outside. So we decided to add in carbs and eat more frequently. So that way we were giving our body a constant stream of energy, so it didn't feel stressed. So now we are trying to eat like every 3 to 4 hours so that we never enter a net calorie negative. So rather than looking at like a day calorie total, we're looking like hour by hour to signal to our body, hey, energy is coming in, so you can turn those hormone production back on. Sarah got her period back a few months ago. I'm still patiently waiting. I think that the stress of my dissertation is something that's weighing heavily on my shoulders. And I really hope that this fall, once I'm fully done with that, the period will return. So typical day of eating, we get up and we eat breakfast right away. Have a blend of macronutrients. So we are not high carb, low fat. We are not 0 carb, high fat. Definitely kind of following more of like a moderate approach. And so in the morning, I'll have like an egg, beef liver, some sort of fruit. It's cantaloupe season here in the Midwest. So we get cantaloupes from our local farmer and they're really good. And then I'll have some raw milk, maybe some raw cheese, and then raw honey. So that's like a typical breakfast. And then I'll eat like every 3-ish hours, depending on like my schedule that day. Just so that I'm providing my body with the energy that it needs throughout the day consistently to signal to it, hey, it's okay to ovulate. So I hope that answers your question. That's kind of eating every 3 hours. We are still eating like getting our fat and our protein in from animal sources, and then choosing to add carbohydrates in from easy to digest carbs. So that's a concept that's not really discussed much. And the reason that we're doing that is so that we don't provide too much stress on our digestive system. So for example, eating a bunch of cruciferous vegetables or like a lot of starches, like potatoes, that can potentially be stressful on the digestive system to break them down. So we're consuming things like honey, fruit, orange juice, and then we enjoy like squashes. So we'll have those. So these are kind of more like 50-50 fructose glucose sources that are just a little bit easier to digest. And that's what's working right now for us. We are willing to evolve to see where we're at in the future. Long answer. Grace, let me know if you have any follow-up questions. Okay, let me go back to the question list. The next one is Ashley D. How often do you donate blood? So that's a great question. So if you guys have been tuning into our series with Morley Robbins, you will notice that we've been talking a lot about how a lot of us are likely out of balance with our iron and copper ratios for a few reasons. So one, we are all likely exposed to iron a lot more than, like, for example, our ancestors due to just our current environment. We grew up on eating iron fortified foods. Raise your hand if you just consumed a lot of cereal growing up. Chances are that cereal was likely fortified with iron. So we likely have a lot of iron in our systems. And then taking that to the next level, someone with amenorrhea, especially for 10+ years, I didn't have a menstrual cycle, and the menstrual cycle is like this the body's intelligent way of depleting itself of iron. And I didn't have that for so long. So I likely have a lot of iron stored in my tissues, and my blood work definitely indicated that. You can check out our mineral analysis blood work test video with Morley Robbins where he goes into that. So that's one of the main reasons why I think that it's critical for everyone to donate blood as often as they can. So right now I went in August, and then I can go in again in October. So I guess it'll be about 4 times a year. And I think that's definitely important for elderly people. So I'm going to try to get my mom to go because like she doesn't have her menstrual cycle anymore. And I think that she likely has some iron storage. So I'm going to personally do it as often as you can. I think if you were to do it 2 times a year, I think that would be great. Okay. Tofool, TOFOOL 86, Tofool. Hey, Ashley, how's the repeat approach working out for you so far? Okay, so that's a great question, and I think many people assume that we are repeatees. I personally don't like to follow diet dogma. I don't think that I am a strict repeatee. I am taking like pieces from like nutrition. I don't like the word diets, nutrition strategies that work for my lifestyle. So Sarah and I like to say that right now we're kind of a blend of like Weston A. Price principles and repeat principles, and then also like just animal based. What I really enjoy about like the Weston A. Price Foundation is just the amount of nutrients that are in raw dairy. So like raw dairy is a huge part of my diet. Raw milk, raw cream in my ice creams, raw cheese, that just contains so many valuable nutrients. And so that is a huge staple in my diet right now. And then some of the repeat principles that I'm incorporating are easy to digest carbohydrates. So that's like the fruit, the honey, and the orange juice. And then also like really stressing the balancing the muscle meat, balancing the methionine with collagen sources such as gummies or like homemade gummies. If you are part of our newsletter, we try to have a recipe every week or every other week. You can sign up for our newsletter on our website, Strong.Sistas.com. I know it's really formal. It's like, you guys are the Strong.Sistas, but our website is Strong.Sistas.com. So balancing the muscle meat with that collagen sources with bone broth or gummies. So I don't really like to like follow anything strictly. I don't like the dogma associated with that. So I have personally enjoyed these principles that we've been incorporating from all of them. And I feel really good right now. My digestion is great. I take a poo every day, maybe a few times a day sometimes. I have really good energy. Yeah. It's going well so far, but I'm willing to like evolve if it doesn't go well in a few months or so. Like, you better believe I'm gonna change it. All right. So, do you know why Dr. Ray Pete says no veggie enzymes in raw cheese? From Tiff B. So that's a great question. So one of the things that Dr. Ray Pete talks about is that our like the food production system is just so messed up, right? So like so many ingredients are just like not really designed. We don't know the effects inside the human body. For example, if you just like take a look at the back of like an almond milk container, like what do those ingredients mean? So we have found like a few great raw cheese sources in our area where literally the ingredients are raw milk, animal rennet, and salt. And that's like, I think the most ideal raw cheese that you can find. That was how it was done in the past. All of those are like easily digested in the body. The problem is with these like plant enzymes, those can just cause disruptions in our gut, especially if you have like a sensitive gut. So that's one of the issues with a lot of the cheeses these days. I will also bring up the point that a lot of the cheeses these days are made from pasteurized milk. So milk that's been heated above a certain temperature, where the dairy will lose a lot of its nutrients. And so like raw cheese will have more nutrients than like pasteurized cheese. So I think that's another factor in addition to these like vegetable enzymes that are in a lot of cheeses. It's just really hard to navigate the current food system, if you know what I'm saying. It's tough, but I think you can always just go back to, okay, whole food sources. That's like the main goal. All right. So Amanda Sturgill asked, how is Champaign, especially the college area, ? So Sarah and I are currently in, well, Sarah's at our parents' house, but I am right now in the Champaign-Urbana area because I go to school at University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. And we're pretty much like on lockdown in this area. We have 2 mandatory COVID tests per week. So I'm like scheduled to go on like Mondays and Thursdays, and you go get tested, and then there's like a tracking system. We just got an email today saying that like a lot of students aren't complying, and so the cases have like are really increasing in our area. So it'll be interesting to see where the university is at in a month or two. I am able to still go in the lab, but my final defense will be via Zoom because there's not like in-person communications much. So I think that they're taking like really strict measures here. And but it is cool that the rapid COVID test was developed at UIUC, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. So that's pretty cool. I'm proud to be in the Illini, but they're definitely getting really strict about like in-person communications and stuff like that. They sent out an email today saying students, like, you should just do like the bare minimum with like social communication. Okay. So Vinny Vintage, how did the cookbook come about with Paul? So that's a great question. It all started with the carnivore waffles. So Paul saw our Instagram post about the carnivore waffles, and he was like, that's cool. Let's write a cookbook. So we said, heck yes, let's do a cookbook. So this was summer of 2019. So this is last summer. So we were going to do just like a full carnivore cookbook. And then obviously like Paul has changed his approach. Our approach has changed since then. And so the cookbook like goal and idea has definitely evolved since then. And now it's like over 100 recipes of carnivore-ish recipes. So it's animal-based. There are some full carnivore recipes, but it's animal-based with some easy to digest, low toxin carbs. So you guys have heard kind of Paul talking a little bit about like the carbohydrate sources. So carbs, the better carbohydrate sources are not the source of metabolic dysfunction. They can like increase the flames, but yeah, so there will be some carbs in this cookbook, but we are really excited about the recipes that we have created, and we cannot wait to share. Okay. Sorry, I lose track of where I was in the questions. Okay, LTORTE, El Torte. Are you still eating plus 25,000 calories? Any signs of a period? ? So I'm eating like 2,800 calories, which is a lot of food. And there are definitely some days where like I'm not that hungry, but I have to like reflect on like my why and why I'm doing this. And I need to provide my body with the energy that it needs so I can dig myself out of the huge energy deficit that I put myself in for so many years. So yes, I am still eating a lot of calories. I don't think things haven't changed too much. I've noticed that I do have I get like one pimple a month, and it's like cyclical, meaning it'll last a few days, and it comes like the same time every month. I'm hoping that I'm absorbing some of the pheromones from Sarah. That's the goal. But I really think that I'll hopefully see more changes once my stress can be reduced after I finish my PhD. To be honest, I don't really know what other symptoms I should be looking for, or like maybe there have been changes. But other than that, it's a waiting game, and I just got to wait it out. And it's definitely hard on some days, body image wise, but I got to remember the why, and I'm so deep into it, I might as well see it through. Okay. So Andy, did you experience any insulin reactions, like being hungry, moody, or tired? So no, it's been really interesting. And I think that personally, that can come from other sources, such as like the polyunsaturated fatty acids, like the vegetable oils, in combination with like refined grains. I think also people will experience those like severe blood sugar spikes and feeling moody and tired if they just consume carbohydrates alone. Never a good idea to just consume carbohydrates. I try to, whenever I'm consuming carbs, either have it with fat and protein, or carbs and protein. So always pairing those carbs with something else that will reduce that blood sugar spike. I think for example, a great snack would be fruit and cheese. So cheese has the fat and the protein, but not just fruit by itself. I think that that's a big reason why people would maybe see the big fluctuations in their mood and feeling hungry. I personally haven't seen those reactions, being super hungry or moody or sleepy or tired. Maybe it's, I don't know. I'm definitely approaching my diet different than the standard American diet that's heavy on PUFAs and refined grains. So it's been interesting so far. I definitely thought that those were going to be there, but so far, no. Okay. Adam Smith asked, do you know if Morley Robbins is against direct copper supplementation? Yes, he is. And I am as well after looking into it a little bit more. So copper is a really tight, it has a really small, making a small change has a profound effect on the body. And so if you add a lot of copper, that can really cause you to be imbalanced. I also think that there's a lot of the copper pills aren't exactly that easily absorbed. And so I really think that the best options are just going to be your whole food sources, like your oysters. Get your oysters in, okay? So I would say no to direct copper supplementation and instead get it through your food sources. Okay. All right. Andy I asked, why don't you eat white rice? That's a great question. And I would eat white rice on occasion. So white rice is definitely going to be a higher glucose source. So that is going to cause a larger blood sugar spike. I would pair it with a saturated fat and a fructose source as well. And I would also really soak the white rice. If I were to choose between brown and white rice, I would definitely choose white rice since they have lower arsenic levels. But yeah, just really heavily soaking it. I'll probably make some white rice this fall. That actually sounds pretty good right now. I'm not going to make it one of my main carbohydrate sources, but I'll definitely incorporate it time to time because it's a pretty benign carb source. You just make sure that you soak it well and cook it for a long time. Okay. Gabriel Rios said, have you tried other tubers like rutabaga or beets? I have not. I would try them. I just know that those aren't my favorites. That's not something that I really enjoy eating. I've had rutabaga in the past and it's just not something that's my favorite. So I would try it, but I enjoy my current approach, which may change as the winter comes, if you know what I'm saying. Heliana said, do you wear makeup? No, sometimes I'll curl my eyelashes, but clearly I did not today. I just really never got into makeup growing up. And I think that if someone gave me a makeup palette, I just wouldn't know what to do with it. So here we are, all natural. Okay. Hi, Kyle. Kyle gave a hi. Eric said hi. Uh-oh, I lost my place again. Okay. So Teresa M said, what form and brand of magnesium do you use? Okay, so let's briefly review the different types of magnesium supplementation. So you have the transdermal, so magnesium that's going to be absorbed through your skin. So that can be through magnesium creams, magnesium spray, and Epsom salt baths. So for those, I use Ancient Minerals magnesium spray. And I spray that on the bottom of my foot since that's where you have the largest pores. So you'll get a higher absorption rate. So I do that 2 or 3 times a day. And then I'll also take, I think that Epsom salt baths are a great idea. I just get Epsom salt from our local co-op grocery store. Or you can do the foot bath with Epsom salt bath. So that's what I do for transdermal. And then there's also magnesium bicarbonate. So we make our own magnesium bicarbonate. I still need to film a video of how we do it. But you can definitely just search how to make magnesium bicarbonate. We have that every day as well. And then we do supplement with a little bit of oral, and that's the pills. So we use glycinate and malate. I would check out Jigsaw Health magnesium malate, but you really need to be careful about the pills because those can cause digestive stress. And so experiment, but if you start to experience like really loose stools, definitely cut back and go with more of the transdermal form of magnesium. But definitely, if you're going to do the pills, definitely stick with like the glycinate or malate. I guess you can also do threonate, but I think that it's a little bit more expensive. Some Andy I, how much salt do you eat right now? How much salt do you eat on carnivore? I'm pretty much eating similar salt amounts. I measured out how much I had the other day. It's 25 grams of salt. So do not be afraid of salt. My mineral blood work also showed that like due to the type of stress that I experience, I like flush through salt really easily. But I would say that for someone who is low carb, they would definitely need more sodium than if they were on a carb-based, or not carb-based, but if they're consuming carbohydrates, because when we consume carbs, our body holds on to electrolytes more than if you were like low carb or zero carb. So right now I'm somewhere around 25 grams of salt a day. No, that's not sodium. That's like 25 grams of the actual salt. Occupy Mars, did you get a $5 Amazon reward card for donating blood? So I was supposed to, but it never came in the mail. And it was kind of one of those things that like, I don't want to spend the time following up on, but apparently you do get gift cards for donating blood. Rudolph Leroy, did you guys get a COVID test? So I am required to get a COVID test 2 times a week through my university. Or else I can't have access to my lab building. So I want to go in my lab. So yeah. So someone said, what do you know about preventing, Teresa M., what do you know about preventing bloating? I'm experimenting and documenting what seems to cause bloating, but it's a work in progress. You know, I don't know enough about bloating. I do know that I was experiencing it a lot in the past. I wasn't bloated on carnivore, but like when I was keto before, because I was very much like plant-based keto, I think that it's some sort of like digestive stress. I was consuming a lot of cruciferous vegetables, and I think that those were definitely like irritating my gut lining. So I think that maybe following like kind of like an elimination diet for a little bit and like adding things in and seeing like what actually causes that would be a potential approach. Okay. So no, someone asked to sniff my socks. Nope. Okay. Adam Smith, what is your current supplement regimen? So I always like to tell people like you have to be covering your bases first before you think about supplementing. Like if you're not prioritizing sleeping, prioritizing real whole foods, and like getting your movement in, then like I don't think supplements are necessary. Like hit those main pillars first. Right now, I think that my main focus for supplementation is magnesium. I'm also doing like mineral drops in my water to add minerals back into my drinking water. And then I guess you can kind of like, I almost consider like beef liver and oysters as supplements because they're so high in nutrients. So I'm doing my liver and my oysters. I'll also have like beef kidney. And then what else? I'll have like collagen gelatin powder because I make like my gummies. But that is pretty much it. I'll have some Shilajit. So we buy some through MitoLife. Shilajit can help with reducing iron in the body. So I'll have Shilajit on occasion. But that is pretty much it. Okay. Okay. Has your new way of eating helped with waking up in the middle of the night? Yes, it has. It's interesting that when I first switched to this way of eating, I got a continuous glucose monitor from NutriSense, and I analyzed my like blood glucose through the middle of the night, and I saw like huge spikes in the middle of the night. And I think that a lot of people see this as well, and it could be signs that like cortisol and adrenaline are rising in the middle of the night. apparently people who have been low carb for a while and switch to like adding in carbohydrates can like struggle a little bit at the start because their liver is not good at storing glycogen throughout the whole night. So I definitely experienced some like adjustment period, but I am still waking up in the middle of the night right now. That's something that I'm actively working on, and I've been looking into it a little bit more. And apparently, like hormones play a big role into this, specifically progesterone. Progesterone is like a anti-stress, like a calming hormone, and I was low on my progesterone. If I was high, I would hopefully maybe be ovulating. So I think that waking up in the middle of the night is like your adrenaline and cortisol rising in the middle of the night and could be indicative of like some sort of hormonal problems. I also have a lot of stress right now with everything that's going on in life. And so I can't wait. I'm going to forever strive to get a like night of sleep without a wake up. That will be awesome. But the number of wake ups have reduced, yes, since adding in the carbohydrates. So Air Blondie asked, did you gain a lot of weight right away, like in the first 2 to 3 weeks? So looking back, like we slowly, so let me give some context. So when I was full carnivore, I was in a calorie surplus. So I was eating like 25 to 2,600 calories. I gained like 10 pounds when I was on carnivore. The start of 2020, Sarah and I started a cut because we were going to be in like some documentary. So we needed to lean out a little bit. The cut just wasn't working well and we had to cut our calories really low. So we started at like 50, we were at like 1,500 calories. That's when we made the decision, like we're going to finally address our hormones. So we said, okay, we need to add calories and we are deciding to add carbs. We like tiptoed in. So we went like 1,700, 1,900, 2,100. And so like we gradually got there. Looking back, like I should have just jumped straight up to being in a caloric surplus. So I didn't gain a lot of weight in the first 2 to 3 weeks. I definitely gained a lot of, like I gained most of my weight in the first like month or two. And then it has definitely regulated out since then. I think I'm probably at my like new, like maybe I've adjusted to this calorie load. I've gained about like 15 pounds, which is still a little bit uncomfortable for me because I'm used to, I've been like really lean for most of my life. And so being in this new body is sometimes challenging. But I think I really need to realize like all the sacrifices that required. Right. So yes, I gained weight like earlier on, but not in the first 2 to 3 weeks. But that was because we kind of like tiptoed in, which was kind of silly looking back. Okay. Powerful Being asked, do you plan on selling meat at your farm? Yes, absolutely. So I don't know how much we will be able to sell being two small females operating a farm, but definitely plan to like partner with local farms. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And we definitely plan on selling meat. I think one of the first animals that we're going to get a bunch of lamb. And we'll be experimenting with some like chicken and pig experiments. And of course the cows too. So yes, we will definitely be selling meat at the farm. Air Blondie again said, other than squash and veggies, what other carbs have you incorporated? So I think it's important that like I haven't added veggies in. I don't really consume veggies. The only thing that I do consume is the raw carrot salad. So if you guys look up on Google, Ray Pete's raw carrot salad, and I consume that specifically for like, it has like kind of this like antibiotic effect almost, where it can help with like removing endotoxins and like excess estrogen in the digestive tract. So that's the only vegetable that I consume is the carrots, and it's only like a little bit each day. Otherwise, it's raw milk. So milk has some carbs, raw honey, fruit, and we'll have maple syrup too. And then we'll have squash. And then on occasion, we'll incorporate like potatoes because I like potatoes, you know? And when I have potatoes, I put on that loads of raw butter to get that saturated fat with it. Okay. Hold on I lost my place again. Okay. Sorry, guys. This is the awkward part. Someone, whoa, cool, said, are you going to go over your hormones and your stress hormone blood test with Danny Roddy? It would be interesting to see how he assesses things. So if you guys haven't checked out our interview with Danny Roddy is definitely one of the individuals who have really like broken down a lot of Ray Peat's work into like easy to digest information. So definitely check out Danny Roddy. I think that it would be cool. I think what we're going to do is maybe get a follow-up hormone and stress blood test response in a few months to compare from where we were a few months ago. And yeah, we'll have them take a look. Okay, if someone could moderate some people in this. Okay, so this is a follow-up on my favorite questions are about the farm. So thank you, Eric, for asking about the farm. Eric, have you figured out what animals and varieties you will have on the farm and what order you will acquire them? So we are really interested in raw, like we consume a lot of raw dairy. We love the nutrient profile in raw dairy. So we're definitely interested in potentially starting in raw dairy, and we would figure out all of the battles and hurdles with delivery, right? So that's just like a bunch of glass jars with delivery. So want to do raw dairy. And so we would get some sort of like dairy breed. I think that the belted Galloways would be a great option because they are A2. So that's definitely like a starter animal. And like I said, I want to get a flock. I want to get some lamb. And let's see, because right now, like we'll show you guys on the farm property, there really isn't too much like shelter. So we would have to build a lot, but there is like a nice shelter for lamb. So that's why I'm like so tied to this. And I'm also going to write a grant specifically to get funds for lamb production. And then in addition to those two, we're definitely going to be experimenting with like chicken feed. So the like corn and soy free chicken, we're going to experiment with that. So I think that that's definitely going to be the order, prioritizing those. And then I think absolutely we will eventually add in pigs. It's just a matter of money. Like all of this is really expensive. And like when we can get on like waiting lists for certain breeds, we have a nice like forest property like on the outside. So that would be a great place for some forest raised pork. So those are all like what we eventually want to do. But I think that lamb and raw dairy may be kind of like high up on the priority list. Okay. Daniel W., what brand of mineral drops do you use? Okay, I'm going to type on here. Let me see, Ancient Minerals. Do they have it? Oh, it's Trace Minerals. Trace Mineral Drops. So it's through the company called Trace Minerals. That's the mineral drops that we currently do. I do about like 20 to 30 in my water per day. So someone asked, is it possible that mineral dysregulation can cause stress as opposed to stress causing mineral dysregulation? For example, if you have malabsorption issues. That's deep, man. That's really deep. Like that takes some thoughts. So you're basically saying, yeah, I mean, I think that both like, so your body not properly absorbing minerals is going to cause like a deeper level of stress. But I would really ask, what is the main cause of that mineral dysregulation? And I think that's going to differ for everyone. That's not a good answer, but I'm a little bit confused. I get the question, but I think it could go both ways. Okay. Oh no, I lost my place again. Vintage Girls, thanks for asking this, said, how is your mama's restaurant doing? So our mom owns a restaurant in like a little bit south of the city. It's called Flossmoor Station Restaurant and Brewery. It was opened up the same summer that Sarah was born. So it is Sarah's twin, we like to say. And so it's been operating now for 24 years. So she's been in the micro brew pub like field before it was popular. Really proud of her. She's like a huge source of motivation for us to be like an entrepreneur, and they've won like a lot of like micro brewing awards. So definitely check them out. They're honestly doing like pretty okay. They have some nice like outdoor seating areas, so they can take advantage of that. Um, Illinois state regulations right now are that you have to be at 50% capacity. It'll be interesting to see like how it goes through the colder months. So it's definitely going to get colder in like October and November. But that's something that Sarah and I will be helping out with when we go home. We'll be like the employees, some of the employees, and she may be looking into like igloo. If you've seen in downtown Chicago, they have these like plastic igloo huts where like they're warm inside. And so people can be like socially distanced in these huts and will be placed around. It's doing better than we thought, but it will be like Sarah and I should go, like we're going to go home to help out even more to just make sure that we can get her at a good place and she's not really struggling. She was definitely concerned about it, but I think like if you guys ever meet my mom, like you will understand like everyone loves her. And I think that the town is really trying to support her. So I'm really happy about like people going to order takeout. So takeout and outdoor seating doing pretty well. Okay. CVO83 sent a super chat for $4.99. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Okay, let's see. So Vintage Girls again asked, how far is your new land from your parents' farm? So, all right, I'm gonna do some maps right now. So our parents right now live on the south side of Chicago in Illinois. We are in like Champaign, Urbana in the central Illinois, and we are moving to Southwest Michigan, or our farm will be in Southwest Michigan. The end goal is that our parents will eventually move from where they are right now once my mom is able to sell the restaurant. And then they'll be they own a piece of property in Southwest Michigan that's about 20 minutes from our farm property, like a nice little distance, maybe a little close, but it's a nice distance. Okay. Heliana, how do you feel about having to butcher the animals yourself? So that's a great question. And this is something that is like the biggest argument in the vegan community, right? It's that you're still killing animals. And like, that's something that I don't support. And that's like a hard argument to face, right? But you kind of have to look at it as like life comes full circle, and like you are as a regenerative farmer, practicing like humane animal practices, like you're giving those animals the best lives they possibly could have, and they have one bad day. I do think that it is going to be a little strange to have to butcher the animals by ourselves. I do think so. This Saturday, I'm actually going to go visit Apsey Farms. So if you guys are in Michigan, you should definitely check out Apsey, APSEY Farms. I'm going to go visit Apsey Farms and visit Kyle, and we are going to be butchering some chickens. So I will have firsthand experience with this after Saturday. Sarah butchered some chickens last fall. I don't think when we're starting off, we'll be butchering like the larger animals. I think that would be something that we will definitely be taking to the processor, but we may be experimenting with chicken processing, because processing is a huge expense for farmers. And it is going to be a learning experience, and it is going to be strange, but I'll let you know after Saturday. Okay. Rudolph Leroy, when are you planning to publish your cookbook? So this is not ideal, but we are submitting all of the materials to the publisher October of this year. It's not planned to be published until January 2022. This has changed since COVID. So the publisher wants the cookbook to do well, and they think that 2021, so next year, is going to be like filled with a lot of COVID books and post-election books. And so they think that the market's going to be really saturated. And they also think that cookbooks do the best in January, when it's like new me, like new year, new me. So it'll be January 2022. So it's a long time from now, but I think that means that it's going to be like awesome, right? Because the publisher's going to have plenty of time to like really put together all of the photos and the recipes that we sent them. Okay. Sorry. Tiff B, do we need to eat the carrot salad with meals, or can we get the same benefit when eaten separately? Also, is it really necessary to add the coconut oil and the vinegar? So this is a great question. The optimal situation is that you have the carrot salad like on a slightly empty stomach. So for example, let's say you have breakfast and then like mid-morning you have the carrot salad, and you can have it alone and then have a meal shortly after. So as for the question, is it necessary to add the coconut oil and the vinegar? So, okay, this is how I understand why the carrot salad works. So you've got the carrot fibers. Those are like not necessarily well digested in the body. So they like go through the digestive tract. So those are the fibers. And then you have the coconut oil and apple cider vinegar. And those kind of act as like the cleansing agents. So the carrot is like the soap, the like scrub brush. And then the coconut oil and the apple cider vinegar are like the soap. And so they like help clear it out more. If you don't have access to coconut oil and apple cider vinegar, just eat the carrot, but they're more effective with the coconut oil and the apple cider vinegar. We have an Instagram post that kind of explains this more. So check out our Instagram post and look for like this purple bowl with these like pretty color carrots on it. So if you can, add the coconut oil and the apple cider vinegar. Okay. Teresa M., what are your favorite resources for learning about farming? I share your regenerative farming goal, but I'm in an earlier stage of the process than you guys are in. So that's awesome. We are definitely going to be documenting our whole journey. So hopefully people can learn from us. I would say the best sources are the Savory Institute. They have a great like holistic management course. Definitely check that out. I would definitely read Gabe Brown's book. It's called Dirt to Soil. Probably one of my favorite books. I really enjoy it. What else? I would say a great step would be go visit all of your local farmers and just ask them questions. I think that is who I have learned the most from. Just like going out there, like volunteering, asking to help out, ask questions about certain things. Like they've learned a lot through their processes and they can help you learn as well. So I definitely say Savory Institute, check out your other local farmers and Gabe Brown's book. Those have been my favorites so far, and I'll definitely be sharing more as I learn more. Okay. Sorry guys, I got lost again. So someone said, have you looked into vermiculture for your chickens, raising your own bugs for their feed? Yeah, we are definitely going to be doing some experiments for the chickens. So right now, I think a lot of regenerative farmers, like in order to compete with grocery store prices, like they have to cut their price, like costs as much as they can. And like corn and soy feed is relatively inexpensive. And that's what like most farmers use. And that's fine. I think that the vegans' like biggest argument against eating meat is that, hey, so much of the corn and soy grown in this country is going towards the feed of these animals. And like, I think that there's some arguments that like, hey, some of the products that are going into these feeds are like, we can't consume them as humans. They're like these weird parts of the soybeans. I don't know enough about that. But something that we're just interested in experimenting with corn and soy free chickens. And so I think that having like compost and doing vermiculture eventually would be like a really great idea, but it comes down to costs, right? And if we have enough money to do it, and if we can make enough money doing it, we'll definitely like continue with it. It's just, can we make those costs work? That'll be, but if we can, then yes, absolutely. Okay. Rudolph Leroy. This is a good question. Are you still planning to fast? So right now, no. And that's because like the luteal phase in your cycle lasts 100 days. And so my like stress hormones, my body has to be happy for 100 days in order for like my period to come back once certain like levels in my body are regulated. So as of right now, I'm not, but that's not like, I'm just focusing on my current goals right now. I don't know where I will be in the future, but right now that's like fasting would counter my goal of getting my period back. Okay. So Eric, again, asked, any plans for making, selling cheeses, whether that's goat, sheep, or cow, or keeping and keeping bees and selling honey? If the latter, what plants like clover would you plant to feed them? That's a great question. I love thinking about these things. This is what I like do for my visualization on my walk. Yes, we do plan on making like raw dairy products. So we want to do like some yogurts, some kefir, and definitely cheeses. I think that we'll start out with one breed, one animal. So whether that's goat, sheep, or cow, I'd say we probably start out with either the belted Galloways or get some backyard goats. So yes, we definitely plan to do that. And then down the line, yes, doing honey for sure. So this is something that Gabe Brown talks a lot about in his book, Dirt to Soil. He has, I don't know what they're called. He has beekeepers come and like, I don't know, collect honey on his farm. I personally really want to do this. I think that it'd be really fun to be a beekeeper. So I forgot to add that earlier, but yes, we will eventually down the line, add honey to the production list. We just have to get to a certain like level first to be able to have enough finances to be able to fund these projects. But yeah, definitely get honey in the future. And then a follow-up to full 86. Do you plan on harvesting colostrum? Colostrum, I don't know how the right way to say it. I'm just gonna say colostrum. Someone's gonna make fun of me. So colostrum is like the first milking from the mama cow after having the baby. I think we would eventually. I know that is like a pretty expensive. Like we've looked into buying some colostrum online, and we have purchased some. But yeah, we would be interested in doing that eventually down the line as well. Okay. So JC, this is like kind of an uncomfortable question, but I'm just going to do it. So how are you guys financing the farm and the animals? So that is probably the biggest barrier that people see in like getting into regenerative agriculture is like the startup costs are really high. So the house that we're living in right now, we are going to sell this house. And so we will get some money from this sale. We are like the cookbook that we have with Dr. Paul Saladino. We got some finances from like signing the contract, and we will get we didn't get too much. It's like very much spread out over a long period of time. So we're using that initial for the down payment on the house. And then we took out a mortgage to pay the rest. So it's going to be hard. It is going to be challenging, especially with like working at our parents' house and then going up to Michigan, like back and forth. We're looking into other sources of revenue as well. I'm going to be applying for a lot of grants this fall, but that is definitely going to be a challenge. And that's a challenge for all regenerative farmers and small farmers these days. So if you are able to, please support your local farmers. Find yours at www.eatwild.com. So as of right now, that's the plan. And then getting the animals and just like selling our products early on. And like I mentioned earlier, like partnering with local farmers to build more like cooperative units rather than just trying to like get really big and sell a lot with like a single farm. Okay, this is a good question. Rudolph Leroy. So what, if any, are your fears or concerns about your upcoming defense? So like I said in the beginning, my final defense is in 2 weeks. It's going to be a little strange because it's on like a Zoom recording. So like I will be sharing the PowerPoint on Zoom, and then my committee will be on the Zoom call as well. And I normally use like PowerPoint notes, but I can't use those this time. So I think that my biggest fear is that like I just won't remember what I was going to say on that slide. The final defense like is not meant to like fail people. It's just like as long as you're prepared and ready to talk about your work, like I should be fine. I'm not too concerned. It's just always something that it's like that thing in the that's bothering you in the closet back there. It's just like always lingering, and I'm just really excited for that to just be done. Yeah. Okay. What is the best way to contact, things to say to farmers to volunteer on their farms? That's a great question. So I think that a lot of local farmers are really willing. They really want people to come out to their farm for a few reasons. So one, they are really confident in their practices. They love what they're doing. but also that like brings you out to their meat freezer, so you will buy their meat, right? So I would say just call or email your local farmer and ask if you can come visit to like buy some meat, and also if they need any, like you'd be interested in learning more about their practices and potentially helping them out. I think just like go out and say it and go out and ask. I think that more farmers are willing to bring people on there. It's safe to say that they're looking for any help that they can get for volunteering. So just don't be afraid to reach out and ask. And again, find yours at www.eatwild.com, or like Thrive Harvest is another one. And you can also contact your local Weston A. Price chapter leader to ask about local farms in the area. Okay. Okay, guys, that's all the questions so far, and it is already at 55 minutes. It's 6:03. I'm going on a walk with my lab mate soon, so I am going to head off this live. I hope it wasn't too awkward for you guys. Just wanted to really come on and let you guys know that like we're really busy right now. Like we're in this transition period in our life, and y'all aren't ready for our content come a few months from now. Okay, so just hang tight. We'll be a little MIA for the next few months. We'll be like still uploading videos, but not that frequently. But we'll be really ready to share our farming journey at the end of like this, like my final defense and the cookbook. Once all of that, it's just like full steam ahead on the farm. Get ready. Okay. Really appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll do another live soon. And remember, hope you guys are behaving like Angel. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.